Hi there, I'm Mark. And as always, these are my thoughts, my views, my opinions, and they're based solely on my observations of people and how they behave. And today I want to talk about perception. And it's come about because I've had two fantastic examples of how perception impacts on us and our behaviours every moment of every day. So the question I'd like you to ask yourself is, what is perception? What does it mean to you? And the irony of that question is, well, it depends on my perception of perception. So it's often said that there is no such thing as reality. There is only our perception of reality. And if you remember in my first ever video, I talked about how we are unique and how our experiences of the past have shaped the people we are today. So if that's the case and we are unique, then our perceptions are unique. And as such, our realities are unique. So let's first of all just try and understand, what do we mean by perception? So the first thing that happens is, all around us, always, information is hitting us, is coming into our receptors. And these receptors are our five senses. Now, I know we have also a sixth sense, but that in itself can't function unless the five senses are in play. So that is what we can see, hear, taste, touch, smell. All those senses constantly have been bombarded. And you'll have heard about places such as Kathmandu in Nepal, or New York City, or Shanghai. These places are described often as an attack on the senses. Overwhelming amounts of sound and smells and tastes and experiences are pouring into us. And the thing is, those senses pick up things which are happening. Everybody can observe them, or smell them, or feel them. And then what everybody else can observe is how we react to those inputs, to those moments. So the two things which are always in play are the thing that has happened and the reaction that it's generated, either in ourselves or in people around us. But what we do not know necessarily about others is what has happened internally to generate their reaction to that situation. And often we don't give enough thought about what has happened to us internally to generate our reaction. So let me give you an example. And this stemmed from me watching television yesterday, and I saw an advert for an organisation that actively looks to support people with disabilities in getting employment. So it's about positioning them to potential employers. And the advert talks about that there's a young woman and she's in a wheelchair, and the line she uses, and I do slightly paraphrase, is that her disability isn't her obstacle. It's what people see is the obstacle. And I thought about this. I thought, well, actually, no, that's not right. Because what everybody sees is a woman in a wheelchair. Well, that's a fact. We all see that. That isn't the obstacle. The obstacle is then the perception of that situation, and how some individuals, some employers will react to that situation. And some employers will simply, as we know, will simply say, I'm not employing that woman, she's in a wheelchair. Others won't. Others will look at the skills and the qualifications and the experience and all the rest of it, and they will not allow the fact that the woman is in a wheelchair influence their decision whether they offer a position or not. But for some, the reaction, the perception, will mean, I'm not going to interview that woman. Now, the thing you have to ask is, where have those perceptions come from? It may well be that employer has experienced somebody in a wheelchair before and the employment didn't go well. Well, is that the wheelchair or is that the person? It may well be of things that they've been told, or they've read about, or they've heard about. And this has shaped their reactions. And for others, those things are irrelevant. They will go through their own experiences of that situation. So when she talked about the fact that the obstacle is what people see, that is not the problem. We all see the woman in the wheelchair. The problem, the challenge that we need to overcome is the perception and the reaction of some individuals, some employers. And it's a shame in this world today that we can't talk in that language when we're trying to put across our point. We have to say it's what you see, when in fact it's what we perceive. And this happened this morning for me on my dog walk. I take my 2 dogs out and I go on a very common, very popular dog walk down by the coast. And as I'm walking along, my 2 dogs are off leash. It's a path and they are off leash, but they're in control. And they are harmless dogs. They are friendly dogs. They are inquisitive dogs. They're 2 Labradors. They're not small. And as a lady's walking towards me, she sees me and my 2 dogs and she instantly bends down and picks up her dog, who is already currently on a leash. Now, in that moment, she has acted and reacted, and I know that's because she has perceived something. That's generated her response. Now, I haven't responded yet. I haven't reacted. I could have gone, oh, typical. Another nervous dog walker, picking up the dog, creating a nervous dog. Could have done. Or I could have gone, what does she think? I've got 2 vicious dogs here? Why is she These aren't typical. I could have huffed and puffed and put mine on a lead and dragged them past, muttering to myself. But I didn't. Instead, I thought, I don't have enough information here. I don't know why she's done that. So I asked her as we are approaching each other, can I ask, is your dog nervous around other dogs? She replied, no, my dog is in season. She's a bitch in season. So what she's basically trying to do is pull her dog away, because if my dogs were male dogs, they'd be all in a heightened sense of excitement. They're not. Mine are 2 bitches and both are spayed. And I told this to the lady. She went, oh, thank you. So mine has nothing to worry about then. And she instantly put her dog down. And we carried on with our lives, happily walking our dogs. No scene, no incident. But the thing is, I chose not to react until I had more information to act with. I could have reacted, because in the past I could have experienced the same situation with a woman who huffed and puffed at me for not having my dogs on a lead, which has happened. I could have had a situation where her dog was so nervous it lashed out at my dogs, which has happened. But I chose not to react that way. Just because I'd experienced it in the past didn't mean it was the situation I was going to experience then. And that is what I mean about controlling our actions by stopping ourselves reacting to our initial perceptions of a situation. Take on board, I could see she'd lifted the dog, but I couldn't hear growling. I didn't hear any aggression. So I didn't therefore think the dog was aggressive or nervous, but I still didn't know why she'd picked the dog up. Now, this happens constantly to us. All day long we hear things, we smell things, we touch things, we sense things, and we react accordingly. But what I'm asking you to do is, when you react to a situation, or when others react to situations and they're different, take a pause, step back and think, why did I act and react that way? And then ask the other person, why did you do that? Why did you act and react in your way? Because sometimes we need more information to help us understand that maybe there's another way to react. Maybe there's a safer way, a less cantankerous, less conflictive way to react to situations. Because remember, we can control our reactions if we think about what's caused them. Hope that makes sense. Hope that gives you something to think about. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.